Hi everyone, it's James here. Compliments of the season, welcome to another video. So today I'm going to do a video called my HMV CD-Buying Frenzy. So this is just to catch you up with some CDs I've been purchasing over the last 12 months, but also just to fill you in on what could be described as an important development in my personal life and my life of being a music consumer. Towards the start of this year, or maybe it was just before, actually, maybe it was Christmas last year, I can't quite remember now, I just started to get this thing about going into HMV and looking mainly at CDs. I mean, the vinyl in there is always, far too expensive, but I don't know what it was maybe partly nostalgia. I mean, when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I used to go into, these big chain stores, HMV, Our Price, Virgin Records, and I guess I find it quite comforting. I got into this thing of even going into town and not going to the local market trader to see what records he had, just really fancying just going into HMV, browsing through the CDs and just buying some new CDs, some things from my collection that for once have not been owned by somebody else. And also I still do enjoy listening to CDs. I sit in my little office through there on the CD listening couch. There's a series that needs to come back, and I just like to listen to CDs of an evening. And sometimes, as you'll see from this pile, a lot of the things I buy on CD, annoyingly, are things I have on vinyl already, and almost like a kind of throwback, to the late 80s when we were all buying things on CD that we had on vinyl already, and then getting shot of the vinyl. I'm not doing that, of course, but yeah, I don't know what it is, just maybe a little bit of nostalgia, retail therapy, they call it, don't they? Just wandering around HMV in my lunch hour, or, just pop into town, see what they've got. I just find it quite a nice store. This is not some sort of product placement video. Anyway, I'll show you what I've got. I've got a bit of a pile of CDs here that we'll kind of whiz through. This is the one that maybe started me on my HMV CD buying frenzy. This is Outsider by Roger Taylor, which I think came out last year, probably towards the back end of last year. I just kind of saw it there in the racks. I thought, yeah, why not? Pick it up. Really enjoyed it. It's a very nice mellow album with a couple of rocking moments from our boy Roger. His voice always makes me feel very nostalgic. This is one that I've never owned on CD, and thought I would pick it up when I saw it there for a good price. This is Jimi Hendrix, Electric Ladyland. Should just say that I always tend to gravitate towards the CDs which are reasonably priced. I tend to go under a tenner. I don't tend to pick CDs up if they're more than £10, and usually the price that I will kind of mainly go for will be the £5, £6, £7 kind of price range. So that was a nice thing to finally get on CD. Classic album. This is one that I used to have on vinyl years ago. This is the first solo album by David Gilmour. Had it on vinyl for many years, lost my copy of it, saw it in HMV, thought I would grab it. That was a good price. Nice album actually, got some nice moments of guitar and vocal interplay from David on that one. Came out in the late 1970s, but some good tracks. This one I can honestly say I bought it before the passing of Christine McVie. Tango in the Night, a record that I've never owned on vinyl or CD, but it's one that I first discovered in the late 80s or early 90s. I've got a bit of a tangled history with this record, but I thought I would get it. And, it's a very nice album. I've been using this to fall asleep to in the last few weeks. Just very 80s, but something very comforting about it. Sometimes I'll buy CDs just because I really want to get to grips with the album. This is Genesis, The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, a record that I've had in my collection on vinyl for years and years and years, but I pull it out once in a blue moon and listen to it and try to get to grips with it, and never quite seem to manage it. It's an album I like, but I always tend to feel like there's such depth to it, and it's such a complex statement really, that I just fancied having it on CD so I could dig in over the winter and get into it. Now, I bought a few of the 5 CD box sets. I'll just gather them all together so you can see which ones I picked up. Again, I picked this up before the death of Christine McVie. This is Fleetwood Mac original album series that collects together Then Play On, Kiln House, Future Games, Bare Trees and Mystery to Me. So it's their wilderness period really, the Bob Welch years. Just fancy trying to get to grips with that that period of Mac. a little bit more. And this is a band that I've never listened to really beyond the obvious hit singles. I thought I would get the original album series by the Cars. That's got the Cars, Candio, Panorama, Shake It Up and Heartbeat City. And yeah, I've been enjoying it. I wouldn't say I'm a big fan of them based on what I've heard on this selection, but definitely enjoyable. And this one, a band, this is Level 42. I've always really liked their album World Machine, but never really paid much attention to the rest of their career, so I thought I would grab this. It's got the albums Level 42, The Pursuit of Accidents, True Colours, World Machine and Running in the Family, and I've been enjoying that. This one, a band that I've never listened to really, thought it's about time I started to dig into a bit of UB40, so I picked up the Essential UB40, which has got quite a nice 3 CD set. It's got, I imagine, all their hits on, so that was a nice listen over the summer, but I do need to give that one a little bit more attention. Traffic, this is Mr. Fantasy, a band that I very rarely see on vinyl, and thought it was about time I heard that album. Been reading the autobiography of Chris Blackwell from Island Records, who obviously was instrumental in the history of Steve Winwood and Traffic, so I thought that would be a nice compliment to that. Been enjoying that one. A couple of, well, one big major prog rock Leviathan. I've shown the Genesis one already. This is another one that I wanted to get to grips with, having had it on vinyl for many years. Tales from Topographic Oceans by Yes, and I thought it was about time I had that on CD. Quite a nice CD edition with the slipcase there. There's something quite satisfying, isn't there, about CD versions of records that you've got. I don't know, I mean, it's not as good as having the record, obviously, but I quite like the kind of dinky miniature version of the record jackets. Oh, didn't show this 5 classic albums one too. Moody Blues, just fancied having that. I've been into the Moodies for years, got everything on vinyl really that you'd want to have, but this has got On the Threshold of a Dream through to Seventh Sojourn, those records, so I've ripped that onto the iPod actually and have been greatly enjoying that. This is a record that I have long wanted to own. Used to have it on a CD, a burnt CD from the library, and used to listen to it an awful lot, but I've never owned it on vinyl or CD. So one day I literally just marched myself down into town. It was a Saturday morning and I just thought, right, I want to go and get Another Green World on CD. So off I went and bought it, and I just love that album. It's just such a great record. So that was a nice thing to get, and I do need to get it on vinyl really. Just 2 more. I picked up Bob Dylan, Rough and Rowdy Ways, which I showed in my recent-ish Bob Dylan collection video. Didn't buy it when it came out. I don't know what it is about latter period Bob Dylan. I've kind of taken my time to warm to it really, but I decided to go for that, picked it up and really enjoyed it. Really nice record. So there we go, a bit of Bob. And finally this one, I can't believe it's taken me so long to get this, but I did decide finally to pick up a copy of Black Star by David Bowie. Got that last weekend, giving it one listen, and obviously quite a dark album, but it's one that clearly is going to require some repeated listening to properly get into, but nice to have that at last, on CD at least. So there we go. I suspect there's a few more, but those are the ones that were immediately obvious to me. There's some jazz CDs as well that I picked up this year from HMV, but I thought I'd maybe save those for a jazz special. I'll try and fill you in on some of the jazz stuff that I've been listening to. But anyway, so that's it. That's my HMV CD-Buying Frenzy video out of the way. Do let me know if you're having a similar experience. Are you picking up CDs? I know there are people here on YouTube who are still into CDs. I do see videos popping up from time to time. But yeah, I love those little round shiny things. Alright folks, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Take care. Bye.